Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm here today to talk about AJ Freund, the tragedy, and he was murdered allegedly by his parents or parent. I'm also going to say the state of Illinois failed this little boy, has failed the family. I've said before and I'll say again, I was a child abuse investigator here for the state of Missouri for 2.5 years. I was the one that would receive the hotline, and I was the one that went out in the field and did the risk assessments to decide if the child was safe or not. So all I can go off is working for the state of Missouri. They don't differ too much, especially states right next to each other. Illinois may be a tad different, but not much. And I really, really want to see the reports. It's too bad I don't still work there because I could go in the system and see it. But I don't. So therefore, just have to go off what we get from our major media outlets. And let's say I received a hotline beginning of March. And it came in, dirty household, no electricity, feces, mark on the child. And with that hotline comes in their past hotlines. I see that the child's been removed and was placed back into care and custody of the mom and dad. Okay, immediately there, that hires the risk. Immediately. So I would not be surprised if this hotline did not come in as an emergency, a 1 to 3 hour 1 to 3 hours. You have to see the kid in 1 to 3 hours. If that's by you're not able to because you can't find them, you can't locate the family, you've called every number that they have, then you do a well child check. You can continue to send the police there until you get someone from the state that's had their eyes on the child. And then you set up a time to talk to them again, depending on the circumstance. I'm trying to find a safety plan that I used to have when working for the state of Missouri, because in the safety plan are the risk assessments. I cannot imagine that a worker went to this home and the risk was not too high. Okay, and here's how the safety assessment works. The initial safety assessment, this is just the name of the document, is conducted with the family on initial contact. The form is completed by the worker and reviewed and signed off by the chief investigator within 72 hours of the receipt or report. If the safety decision is unsafe, the worker must also complete a safety plan, another form, CD-18, which must also be reviewed and signed off by the chief investigator within 72 hours of receiving the report. Okay, this is how you kind of assess the situation. Get the hotline. It shows there's some danger. So you have to go out and assess the situation. So present danger, no or yes. You come to the house and there's no electricity. There's feces. The house is filthy. The kid has a bruise on his face. You can clearly look at the mother and tell she abuses drugs. I knew that before realizing that he was born with an opioid addiction. I mean, you can look at her and tell. So, I would immediately assume that she's probably still using, so that could be a danger. He has a bruise on his face that probably is not matching something from an animal. They have no electricity. The house is filthy. There's feces and clutter everywhere. I don't know if they checked the fridge for food or not, but that's one thing you're supposed to do. And you're always supposed to check to see if the lights and the water are working and if the kid has somewhere to sleep. So, as we're going along, I can already tell you we need to go this way and not this way. Present danger to know would be no indicator the mom's been using. The house is clean, electricity's on, water works, has a place to sleep. The bruise could still be a concern considering they've had multiple reports on them. But if there's no other concerns besides the bruise that they state the dog did, then you'd probably go no. But still, I'm going yes. Protective, why can't I say that word? Protective intervention. 6 safety questions. What is the nature and extent of the maltreatment? What circumstances accompany the maltreatment? How does the child function day to day? How does the parent discipline the child? What are overall parenting practices? How does the parent manage his or her own life? Well, number 6 right here to me on the safety questions would be a threat of danger. Right? How do they manage his or her own life? Well, it doesn't look like they're managing it very well from what we've heard from the police officer, from the report. The house was filthy. They did not have electricity. And from just looking at the mother, she looks like she uses. So, threat of danger. You got a vulnerable child. Caregiver's protective capacity. Assess caregiver's capacity to protect the vulnerable child from the threat of danger. Safety factor identification. Present danger, yes. Yes. Impending. Safety threshold criteria. Out of control, vulnerability, imminence, specific and observable. I know you guys looking at this can see, obviously there is money issues, no electricity. I'm not saying people that have money issues shouldn't have children, but it looks like it's out of control. The electricity's turned off, the house is filthy, the mom looks like she's using, out of control. The child is very vulnerable at this stage. Imminence, present danger or impending danger. He's got a bruise on his face that's probably not matching that it came from a dog. And there's no electricity in the home, and the house is deplorable. Present danger. Safety decision. After everything we just talked about, would the child be safe? Absolutely not. So you go to unsafe. It doesn't mean the child needs to be immediately removed. You can find a family member that will take the children in, until all these things get fixed, and then the child can be safe again. It doesn't mean they have to go to court and have their children removed. The safety plan. Immediately available, action-oriented, flexible access, immediate impact, no promissory commitments, least intrusive, least restrictive. That means the easiest way to do this, which would probably be to place the children or child with the grandma that was willing to help. How that worker went through all that and found that the child is safe is questionable, at the very least. All right, I will do another video on present danger, examples of present danger. I'll just go over it real quick. Workers should always be alert to present danger at the time of the initial contact or at the time of any contact with the family. Present danger, no electricity, the house is deplorable, dog feces, the child has a bruise on his face, the mom looks like she uses. Present danger is an immediate, significant, and clear observable threat to a child occurring in the present which, if allowed to continue without intervention, could result in severe harm. Present danger is an active threat of danger. It may be seen on initial contact after an incident of child maltreatment, or it may have been impending danger that has become active. What is important is that it requires an immediate response to control the threat. Yes. Present danger is primarily concerned with a caregiver's behavior. So, you can tell the mom's been using and she was probably up and down with her emotions anytime. I don't think I could say that I've ever went to a house on an investigation or an assessment and a parent was not pissed off I was there. Because they immediately think you're coming in and taking their kids. Immediately. Everyone. So, the worker probably got to see the real mom come out. The caregiver may be directly a danger to a child and may be protective of other existing danger. Present danger may involve physical aggression, fail to protect a child from aggression or dangerous situation, or neglectful behavior which deprives a child of essential immediate safeguards and or life necessities. No electricity. It's a must. Present danger is concerned with the circumstances a vulnerable child is in, which includes his location, his condition, his proximity to dangerous events or people and social or physical conditions happening or in existing which endangers him. Present danger requires a safety plan with protective actions that address the immediate threats of danger to the vulnerable child. Okay, some of you are probably saying, oh, just because she looks like she uses doesn't mean she uses. Fair enough. We had somebody we would call Dragnet come in and have them do a hair test. They could be there in 3 hours. That's how you assess that situation. Not just by just taking a guess and saying, no, the child's probably safe because mom says she doesn't use. Come on. Example of present danger. Hitting, beating, severely depriving now. Injuries to the face and head. Present danger. It was on his face. The bruise. Premeditated maltreatment. Life-threatening living arrangements. So we're going with hitting, beating, severely depriving now. Okay, so we're going with 1. We're going to go with 2. We don't know. Bizarre cruelty towards a child. Bizarre extreme viewpoint of a child. We don't know what the mom said or how she acted. Vulnerable children who are left unsupervised or alone now. Children extremely afraid of home situation. Children needing immediate medical care. Caregiver unable to provide basic care. Electricity. A clean home. Caregiver exhibiting bizarre behavior. I can't imagine that he didn't or she didn't, but caregiver who is out of control now. Well, problem with that is, like I've said, I don't think there was one house I ever went to that they were happy to see me. So I'd usually get cussed out, screamed at, verbally assaulted pretty much. Caregiver under the influence of substances now. The mom probably was high or withdrawing. Caregiver will not explain child's serious injuries. Well, it sounds like to me they fluffed it off to blaming it on the dog. And through your training as an investigator, you are shown what different marks look like from different situations. There's no way a bruise on this child's face would have been from a dog. Family will flee or hide child. Present danger requires a protective action to control the threat of danger. Protective actions refer to immediate, same-day, short-term, or sufficient safety interventions to control present danger threats of danger in order to allow completion more through information collection and safety plan development. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to go where the child is removed completely from the family forever. But the child is unsafe, clearly. The children are unsafe, clearly. So, what family member can you call me to come here right now and take your children from me until we get all these, again, examples of present danger taken care of so that your children are safe with you. The worker must assure that the protective action is in place before they leave the home. Focused on the particular family behaviors, conditions, circumstances representing the present danger, controls the identified threat of danger until sufficient information can be gathered and analyzed to determine the need for an ongoing safety plan. Does not use a parent or caregiver who is the alleged perpetrator of physical abuse or sexual abuse to provide protection. Includes safety service providers who can manage threats of danger for the child and have been confirmed to be suitable to do so. So even if a grandma comes to pick up the children, like I said, and the child's unsafe and they go there to stay, the next step would be getting an FCS worker in the house so the children can come back home. Once we got the house cleaned up, electricity back on. And the state can assist with helping getting the electricity back on if they are in dire straits with money. They can't help every person in the state, but they can, in a situation like this, request for help, and usually they get it. All right, guys. I will continue this because it's just a passion I've had my whole life, is to help others. And I did this. So it feels close to home. Anyways, like, subscribe, share, don't. See ya.